BS.
Well, it's I, lovable baby boy Brank, and I'm joined by Jank. Reveal yourself as your true villainous self.
It's me. I'm here.
Okay, well, now that we've gotten this going good, this is our first take ever. We do this always in one. And we're back from the dead, and we're ready to break some bread. Because we are Super BS, a podcast about video games mostly. But the most important thing on our mind isn't about video games. It's about that sweet life that we be living. How your life be. You live in that sunshine and rainbow style life. When we're in the Florida Keys, we know you're over there, right?
Yeah, I just moved here from Indianapolis this week. So
You move
the
a
weather
lot.
has actually, I do move a lot.
That's really bad
So,
for the environment. Have you ever thought about
in
not
this
moving?
economy.
Yeah, you seem to buy a new house every week. Maybe we don't need patrons because you're just that rich. So maybe you'll have to be the patron.
Yes, I will sell. I'll keep selling my houses and contributing to this podcast. That's what keeps the lights on in the studios, aka our living rooms.
Well, our living rooms also are professional studios. Don't sell that short. This is my fourth living room I'm in right now. I know I have several. Well, it's my fourth living room, but it's my sixth, I guess, family room, if you will. And then after my third bonus room, I guess it would be in around my 12th extended room that I just don't even use. I use this room for
what
just
do you
sitting.
do with all that space? What do you do with all that space?
I have a Connect. So
How many sheds do you have?
I don't have enough sheds, but I have a Connect. So that's why I needed all that space, is so I
You
could
know,
play.
that space so you don't knock over the fine china. Yeah.
Hey, I've got to play the Gunslinger on Connect. I need to be able to play that. That was a game, right? I want to say the Gunslinger Connect was a Gunstringer. Sorry for everyone who hates me. It's Gunstringer, everyone's favorite Connect game. Well, guys, today we don't have time to talk about the games we're playing because there's something special happening in just a couple days. Something that we like to call E3, which is now dead, but it's now called Summer Games Fest, which is the same thing.
Too soon.
Too soon. It is. R.I.P. Rest in peace. E3 will love you. Reach for the stars always. But to kick things off, before we start our E3 stuff and our guessing, or not even our guessing, we know everything. So we're just telling you what's going to happen. Our Dream3 Wishlist. Before we start that off, we need to talk about something that Sony dropped just a few days ago called the Sony State of Play. Happened at the end of May, and we need to go over these announcements. But before we go over the announcements, what do you think of it overall? Do you watch it?
Yes, actually, I did last night.
Nice.
Ironically, I watched it on the Xbox. I downloaded the YouTube app and watched the Sony State of Play on the Xbox.
That's illegal. I'm going to have to send the police to your house to come and confiscate everything you own, including your children, because you watched this game. You watched this State of Play on an Xbox. You're not allowed to do that, okay? Ever heard about life?
Well, I did. I did it through a VPN, though. So as
That's
far as
safe,
they know, I was
yeah.
in Argentina.
Yeah.
I was in Argentina. They have no idea
And
where I was coming from.
you're allowed to do that when you're in Argentina. That's the rule that everyone forgets, is if you're in Argentina,
true.
there is no console war. So you're allowed to watch
No
whatever
console
you want.
wars. You can play Sonic on the Nintendo Switch. There's no judgment
There's
over there.
no rules, just right, man. That's the type of place I'm all about.
Oh.
Okay, so to get this thing kicked off, I will give my opinion first. I actually thought it was okay. I didn't think it was like the worst State of Play we've seen because they've had some stinkers, but it was definitely not great. We'll go through the announcements to like get deep into it, but I would say there was only like one standout title in the entire presentation, and the rest of it was like middling at best. Did you actually tell me what you
Yeah.
thought of it, or you just said you watched it?
No, I didn't get it. I didn't talk to you guys. I was trying to. You guys were like spoiling it on our group chat, so I was trying to like stay away
always.
from it, and then I just forgot to respond to what you guys were saying.
Well, I
So
always
will
like
say-
spoiling it, so.
Yeah, you guys kind of do. Yeah, that's been happening for years though. Anytime there's a conference or whatever, I will not look at that chat.
You need to
until
watch
after I
it
have seen
right
the,
when it's on. That's actually the answer. Is you watch it right when it's airing live. you don't wait, okay? If it's as we've learned from IGN, if a TV show's been out for 1 hour, you can spoil the ending of a season, right? Because that's enough time for every single person in the world. If it's been out for 2 minutes, you should be able to put the spoiler for the ending in the header on the front page of your site. IGN.
You should. Absolutely. IGN.
Okay.
Definitely not calling IGN out.
Yeah, no,
yes.
we love IGN. So what do you think about it?
Okay, so I actually didn't quite know what to expect from anything. So I didn't hate it. It wasn't like crazy impressive. There's a couple games that like I'd love to play, but for the most part, I looked at a lot of these. Was like, ooh, that looks cool, and then I will probably completely forget that they existed in about 3 months.
Yeah, let's kick it off. Let's start with what they started off with, Concord. If you remember, I think it was the last State of Play or the last Sony showcase. I think it was maybe a showcase even, which is like their biggest or their bigger presentations. They had most of their live service games represented: Fair Trades, Marathon, and Concord, which Concord was just a teaser at that time. So they did a big reveal because this is one of the very few PlayStation first-party games coming out in 2024, and it is very Guardians of the Galaxy-y from the trailer. It is very much like they watched Guardians of the Galaxy, they liked it, and then they essentially stole most of the characters and even kind of the way they look and act. But it's funny because you see that and it looks like if you watch did you watch the whole trailer for it?
Yeah, I watched everything.
It looks like it's going to be like a multiplayer co-op shooter, right? Or something like Guardians of the Galaxy, like something we're going to go through a world and do missions.
It was advertised really weird.
Yes.
Like, so it looks like it's going to be like you said, a big team or multiplayer battle game.
Yeah.
And when you log in, every time you log in, there's supposed to be like a new cinematic to watch, but they advertised it like it was some sort of like, I guess, adventure game.
Yes.
Like not like a single player thing, but maybe like a co-op where you could play with 3 friends and go on like space adventures, because they gave names to the characters.
They
and
named names.
They personalized the characters to make them seem like they were going to be a big part of this journey you were on. But when they showed the gameplay, it was really just like Overwatch.
Yeah.
You have a team and each character has a different class setting you can use, and you're basically going after other teams that I'm assuming are the same characters as these ones, just with different different skins and things like that.
They showed what looked like about 14 different characters. They are all like Overwatch characters where they have personalities and they all have different weapons. It kind of looked like a mix of Overwatch and oh man, it just totally skipped my name. Destiny to me. It looked like kind of a mix of Overwatch and Destiny from the gameplay.
For sure. Yeah.
It's funny because I do feel like their trailer is almost false advertisement, where, like you mentioned and like I mentioned, it very much seems like it could be an open world, or at least like a SOCOM or some type of game where you go on, do missions with a team, right? And then you finish that. Mm-hmm. But it is, from what we all understand, a multiplayer shooter. It's releasing day and date on PC as well as PS5. So that's a first. Besides Helldivers, which is like a second-party publisher or second-party developer or third-party, I mean, they just bought the rights to make that. This is a PlayStation-owned studio, so I think this is their first one they're releasing day and date on PC. And it's coming out soon. It's coming out August 23rd, so we're going to know a lot more really soon about it. I don't think I'll play it. I mean, truthfully, I don't think I'd play it even if it's free, which is like what I think they're going to need it to be to get people to play it. Either that or it's going to need to be real cheap.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to bust into the esports market a little bit, though. If you look at the way the game is set up and played, it looks like it could be like an esports hit. But also, for the past 2 years, we've seen games just like this, and they have completely vanished off of anybody's radar within the first 6 months it was out.
Speaking of that, there was a game that just came out in the last 2 weeks called X Defiant by Ubisoft, and that is a free-to-play game that's almost exactly like this, like a team-based 5v5, or I don't know how many it is, maybe 6v6 shooter.
That was by the makers of Alan Wake, right?
No, it's a Ubisoft game. So it was originally like going to be a Tom Clancy Tom Clancy's X Defiant.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
been in development for like at least 3 or 4 years now, but it's crazy because it came out. It's out. Like it came out like a week or two ago. No one's talking about it, and it's pretty much dead already. So it's just a very
been bad.
weird landscape, especially for this style of shooter. I feel like the only one that's successful is Call of Duty at this point. Like, I don't even think people really. Oh, and Call of Duty and. What is the Riot game that's not League of Legends that everyone loves? The team-based shooter. It's Valorant.
Valorant.
Yeah. So yeah, League of Legends, Valorant, Rainbow Six Siege, which is a Ubisoft title that's found success, and kind of Overwatch. I don't think like Destiny is a really big multiplayer shooter. Halo Infinite, most people have dropped off, even though it's like great. So it's just weird. It feels like a weird time to release it. Good luck to them. I hope it doesn't just die immediately. But like I mentioned, I don't even think I'll play it if it's just free. So, which is like kind of like damning when it comes to these style of games, because that's kind of what it's going to need to be. But my guess is Sony's going to try to sell it for like $30-$40.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it though. There's nothing like for me personally. There's nothing that I saw in that trailer that would make me say, "Oh, hey, I need to put down whatever I'm playing at that moment and try this game out."
Yeah, and I mean, if you really wanted to play that style of game. Currently, I feel like Destiny has a free trial and Overwatch 2 is free on all platforms. So why would you potentially, they still haven't announced it yet, but why would you pay money to play this thing? So we'll see. We could both be wrong. It could come out and see like massive success. I mean, it's a Sony title, so that does hold some weight, right? But I just don't think it holds enough weight for what they'll want.
No.
Okay, the next big thing was God of War Ragnarok. It's coming to PC, baby. You and I both played this 2 years ago when it launched, roughly in 2022 at the very end. It's coming to PC September 19th. It's neat, like it's something that people like Steam Deck owners, I don't want to name names, but people who may own a Steam Deck.
What's that?
I don't know, and I can't talk about it anymore because we've done this joke too many times. But
it's funny every time.
Oh, everybody's dying, man. We're gonna get Reggie down from the ceiling, and we're gonna play Croc all day till we die.
The laughter tears are flowing.
Oh well. Anyways, God of War Ragnarok's coming. It's coming with all the good stuff. They did announce that you will have to have a PSN account for these games from now on.
Yeah, I saw that, and I from what I understand, there's a lot of people who aren't very happy about that because it's just like one more kind of gateway you have to go through to play it.
Well, you and I discussed this also on another episode that was aired for sure. You can listen to it, I promise you. But
yeah, it exists, I promise.
But Helldivers 2 is you still can't buy it in a lot of a lot of countries because PSN isn't available in a lot of countries. So a game like God of War Ragnarok that has no multiplayer features won't be able to be sold in something like, I don't know, was it 60 countries? I can't remember the number from Helldivers 2, but it's a fair amount of countries.
It's like all the Asian countries.
Yeah, you're going to have to get a VPN essentially to play God of War Ragnarok. So, and then those people maybe already have that, but it's still an annoying thing to have to get a VPN. And then if they find out you're using a VPN, you break the terms of service. So then they can kick you off the game and get rid of your license. But after that, I'm going off the IGN list, so this is going to be slightly out of order. They announced a new Dynasty Warriors game, man, something I haven't seen in a while. I thought that was kind of neat looking. Did you pop for that, bro? Was that all you?
Oh, actually, I like these types of games, but I don't know if I'm going to play it. Dynasty Warriors has kind of been dead for a while.
Yeah.
I know they had some like mashups with Gundam and a couple other properties, but it looks cool. I mean, it looks like they're trying. I'm curious if they're trying to reboot it as it has origins in the title.
Yeah,
and they're kind of maybe going back to the beginning because I'm pretty sure there's like 20 close to 30 Dynasty Warrior titles by now. So
well, I mean, in the Dynasty Warriors main series, I think they were on 9, but they might have had also like subtitles ones, but they also have
spin-offs.
They have the Persona one. They have a bunch of the like pretty much anime games. There's tons of anime Muso games they're called. But yeah, it's a 2025 title, so it's just not that exciting, right? It was something where it's like, oh, this could be cool. It's coming out next year. Okay, I don't really care. This isn't even that exciting to begin with, and it's not coming out anytime soon. The next one I will say I was pretty interested in. It looked really dorky, but it looked like it could potentially be fun. It was called Infinity Nikki. Do you remember this title?
Is that the one where you're like a fashion designer
Yes.
or whatever, like in design?
You
Yeah,
dress
yeah.
up.
So it looked all right. I mean, it's not something that I would play, but my daughter was actually really excited about it. So it'll probably end up in our house.
Well, your
in
daughter's
some
got way
form,
better
I'm
taste
sure.
than you, okay? So you got to start learning
She
from your
does.
daughter. You
That's
actually,
that's what people always tell me. Yeah.
well, they're all right, and you need to start learning. But anyways,
my parents
I
say.
I am concerned it won't be good. But the thing that made it seem interesting to me is it seems like a mix of Zelda and almost Mario Odyssey, where you're like your clothing in Mario Odyssey, your clothing was used just to get some of the stars, but it feels like your Mario or your clothing is used kind of like Cappy, right? In Mario Odyssey, where you're using it to get different powers. So I do think that aspect of it could be really fun. If the clothing is just cosmetic, then yeah, there's nothing for me here. But it did look like some of those clothes you could use to like traverse landscapes and stuff. So I don't know. It was one of the more interesting titles I thought that they showed that was new here, right? There weren't a ton of things I was like, oh, that's neat. But I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, well, I love the like JRPG look and feel and elements.
Yeah.
And they're mixed with like platforming elements in the game too. So I don't know, it could be a fun mashup, but also like this kind of reminded me of like Harvestella when it was announced. Remember, it was like, oh, I'm gonna play that. It looks so cool, and then I completely forgot about it after.
Yeah, Harvestella is
after it came
a
out.
weird one. It looked very fun in the trailers, and I played the demo, and I just couldn't care enough to finish even a portion of the demo. So Infinity Nikki is probably going to be the same thing. This next one I thought was interesting. They showed it last year in I guess Gamescom's opening night live, but it's called Where Winds Meet. It's another one of the Chinese developed games, kind of like a Wukong Black Myth. This is like, so I think it looks phenomenal, but we don't know a lot about these studios. And kind of like Stellar Blade, which I love, it's coming from a region that hasn't had a lot of AAA console games developed so far, or even AAA.
South Korean.
This one's Chinese. But
gotcha,
Stellar
okay.
Blade was South Korean. But yeah, they're coming from areas where they've mainly been making mobile games, right? Like console and PC gaming is still relatively new for, as far as I know, South Korea, and definitely for China. I think it looks phenomenal, but I'm just curious how it will play because, game development's hard, and unless they've been hiring up a bunch of people who are really, really good at it, it's very unlikely that everybody on their first try ever is going to be incredible at making what seems to be a giant open world Assassin's Creed style RPG. But yeah, I think it's going to be neat. Again, it's a 2025 title at least. Like there's nothing that says it's coming out this year. So
seems to be kind of par for the course for them. But at least they are putting dates on these things. And so they games out of China, like they had remember Sword and Fairy, like they did a few of those that have been released in the West, and they were pretty fun for the most part, but then the gameplay gets kind of repetitive. So I'm curious if that's going to end up, being kind of Where Winds Meet.
Yeah, we'll see, because this is way bigger budget, similar kind of like to Wukong Black Myth, which is also coming from China. Like these are on a different level, right? These are like that. They're very similar to Stellar Blade. That's kind of why I mentioned that, because they have that quality that we've never seen coming from China before. We've seen games like, what do you say the last one was? The one you just mentioned?
Sword and Fairy.
Sword and Fairy. We've seen stuff like that. They have lots of those titles. They got quite a few on Xbox and PlayStation right now, but there's nothing that's this quality. So we're going to see. It's going to be unique. This next one, I don't really know what to feel about. It's called Ballad of Antara. It looked really cool, but it was found out a little bit after that it's a free-to-play game. And my opinion of those, it's a free-to-play action RPG. My opinion is free-to-play games have never been successfully made as a single-player title. Like, I've never played one besides like Genshin, but I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, that's what... Yeah, because I was going to say, like, there's a lot of people trying to mimic, like, what Genshin Impact did, and every time they do, it fails.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe that's what they're trying to do with Ballad of Antara. It looked okay, but...
I mean, it looked phenomenal in terms of just CGI trailers, but I don't know what...
Yeah.
And I guess they have some gameplay in here, so again, kind of like Where Winds Meet, it could be good, but free-to-play, I just don't know how you can make that a compelling single-player game.
Yeah, and it's probably going to have some microtransactions in it.
Oh, for sure. And there's gotcha
form.
elements, I believe, too. And I know there's gotcha elements in Infinity Nikki, too. So, like, that stuff really turns me off. After that, the State of Play kept their word, and they had 2 VR titles they showed. Skydance's Behemoth. Do you remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. It looks like a kind of a Skyrim style VR game. Probably not going to be very great, but
yeah, it reminds me of the there's a game where you're fighting ogres and they're like massive things you got to like climb on, climb on top of them and take them down. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're not talking about. Shadow of the Colossus, right? You're talking about a more modern game that came out probably about 5 years ago by this development team in Chicago.
Xbox.
No, I know exactly what game you're talking about. I cannot remember the name. I never played it. Yes, this looks like a VR take on that, which is kind of like, Attack on Titan style ideas when it comes to those things. But this is way more fantasy, medieval. The audio was terrible. It is made by the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners developer, which I don't have VR, but from what I understand, those are one of the very few VR games worth getting.
Extinction.
Oh, Extinction. Okay. And the other thing about this is it's coming to MetaQuest and Steam VR. So it's coming out in October, but it's coming to 2 other platforms. I truly think that, after we Alien was the other one that they showed. It has no date. I believe it's coming to the other VR platforms as well. I think this is the end for PSVR 2, which is kind of crazy considering it came out last February.
Yeah, because PSVR 2, I think, had a price drop recently, and so did the MetaQuest, right? Whatever the latest Meta headset is.
Maybe.
It's on.
They have a MetaQuest.
Had a significant price drop.
Yeah, they have a MetaQuest 3, but I don't know if that had a price drop. But I will say, the PSVR 2 has a price drop currently. I think it's to like $500 or $450. It's still way too much because you also need to own the PlayStation 5 to be able to use it. Mm-hmm. And then they only have 2 first-party titles? Gran Turismo 7, which you have to own Gran Turismo to play it, and then the Horizon game. Otherwise, it's like a handful of games that are already on MetaQuest, which is, I think, $200 cheaper. So it's just a weird thing. It's crazy that they released it to let it die. This is even faster than the Vita. If you remember when they released the Vita, it was like pretty much dead within 4 years. This was last February. It's probably going to be done by the end of the year. I
think they're because right now everyone's talking about VR and AR, augmented reality. You have there's a company that just invented one of those floorboards that lets you walk on it, like on Ready Player One. So I think that's Sony kind of saw this stuff and they're trying to get ahead of that curve.
Yeah.
And on the off chance that it is crazy successful, that they're out there in that market already. But I don't think that market is panning out to be what everybody thought it would be.
Yes.
But Alien Rogue Incursion actually looks pretty terrifying, to be honest.
It also looks pretty terrible if you look at the graphics and the quality. I know it's a work in progress, but it did not look like it was made very well. It doesn't have a lot of fidelity. So it's a strange one for sure. I think Alien is a perfect IP for VR just because of the scariness. And I think Alien Isolation has a VR mode on some of the platforms. But the craziest thing is with PSVR 2 not having any backwards compatibility, it's such a bad value proposition for people because they can't even play whatever was on the original PSVR. It's only PSVR 2 titles. So anyways, that's
lame.
I guess it's coming out this holiday. So Alien Rogue Incursion, it does have a release date. I thought it didn't have one. After that, they talked about this game that's already been discussed before called Marvel Rivals. I guess it didn't have a console release date, but now they announced it's coming to PlayStation 5. Do you know anything about this game?
No, it kind of reminded me of the Ultimate Alliance games where it's a third person and you're taking on other things. But I think this is this is an online only type.
Yeah,
game.
This is an Overwatch like. It is exactly Overwatch. From every person I've listened to talk about it, the modes, the matches, they're all the same. It's 5v5. You push the thing, you pull. You know what I mean? All the characters have. It's just a third person shooting Overwatch. So it's nothing different except for with Marvel characters. So that comes out, I think, at some point this year. Then they talked about Until Dawn, which I never played I guess not the original because this is the original getting a remake. Is it even getting a remake? What would you even call this? It doesn't look like it's a full remake. It's kind of a remastery thing.
They're calling it a remaster, but this came out on PS4 originally.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad, but it also doesn't look like they put a ton of work into making it look better for PS5. So it's coming out to PC and PS5 sometime this fall. They then talked about this game called Path of Exile 2, which is a free-to-play Diablo-like. It's been out. The original's been out for probably 10 years at this point, maybe even longer. And this one was announced, I believe, last year or maybe even before that. So I guess
with the couch co-op elements, again, we kind of like a Gauntlet vibe to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's identical to Diablo. So if I don't play Gauntlet a lot, but if Gauntlet, I don't think Gauntlet has as much like leveling up and skill tree customization. I did play Path of Exile. That is what Path of Exile is all about. It is just a crazy skill tree. If you want to see one of the craziest skill trees I've ever seen in gaming, look up the Path of Exile skill tree. It's just wild. It is.
When did the original come out?
I was saying, I think at least 10 years ago, but
okay.
I mean, why don't you do some computing yourself and figure it out, bro?
Oh, I gotta tap the keys.
It's been 11 years. October 23rd, 2013. That's wild, dude.
I waited a long time to put the sequel out.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've been making DLCs for it like every year. I think they had DLC for it like even just 2 or 3 years ago. They released one. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know you're going to love it because that's just what you do, and you'll probably play it every day of your life.
Yeah, every day. Yeah, it's gonna be my next Final Fantasy.
Okay, this next one I want your opinion of because it doesn't really do anything for me, but I'm hoping I want to get it because I've never played this game. But the Silent Hill 2 remake. What do you think of it?
Yeah, actually, it looks really cool. I remember the original being terrifying when I played it on the PlayStation 1, and it looks cool. I don't know like how eager I was for a complete top to bottom remake of it, because once I was done with the original version of it, I was happy to be done with it.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know how eager I am to go back to. No, it's a great game, but it's like one of those games where you're like, oh, I played it and it was difficult, and I don't know how bad I want to play it again. So yes, I will probably end up playing this one, but it's it seems to me like they're trying to do like what Resident Evil did, but Silent Hill is a lot more difficult than the Resident Evil games.
What have you thought of the other Bloober Team games? Because this is another Bloober Team game. They did the Blair Witch, Layers of Fear, The Medium, Observer. What do you think of their other games?
So I played The Medium, and that was all right. That was it's kind of a walking sim.
Yeah.
You're a site. That was one of the ones that released on Series X.
Yep. It was one of the
early
Series X releases with the powers of Series X. You could have both of these worlds displayed. And then it came to PS5 later.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. I played the Blair Witch for a little bit. I fell off of that one. That one was another walking sim, but I got really bored with it within the first 2 hours. It did not grab me and sink its teeth into me, so
nice.
I gave up on that one. But no, The Medium was really good. So I don't know. I mean, this could be great. It's like I said, the original game was pretty cool. So
yeah. What do you think? I thought the character models look really bad. I will say about Silent Hill 2 remake, after playing the new Resident Evil remakes, I feel like, and this is
PS2, right? I think the original was on PS2.
Yeah, I can't believe how bad these character models look for this remake. They're not the worst I've ever seen, but there's just something funky about them. And I don't think it looks good. And I'm overall very disappointed because this is coming out a year after the Dead Space remake and Resident Evil 4 remake, and they both looked way better. It's weird. I don't know what to think.
But
I hope it's...
That's what... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just about to say, I hope it's good. But I don't even know if I'll play it because it doesn't look very good right now.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. What made those old games, we've talked about this before, Dead Space, what made Dead Space so terrifying was the fact that the graphics weren't fantastic, right? And so things that were supposed to be sneaking up on you in the dark, you couldn't see them because, like I said, the lighting, the graphics, lighting, all that stuff was not fantastic. Same thing with Silent Hill, but as you're watching the trailer of this and the flashlights flipping around, you're seeing these creatures coming after you. You can see them. You can see them very clearly. So it's going to be interesting to see how that translates into a game that's supposed to be scary. Is it going to end up being scary, or is it going to be something that goes from being a horror game to more of an action feel to it?
Well, we'll know October 8th, baby. It's also coming to PC. There's 2 more titles. This next one I have next to no interest in playing, but it is Monster Hunter Wilds. We talked about this last episode. It's kind of the big Capcom game. I think we discussed like, hey, I want to see Resident Evil, but it's probably going to be Monster Hunter Wilds that they're going to focus on because Monster Hunter World was like one of the most successful Capcom games ever. Did this trailer do anything for you? Because it looked a lot. I mean, it was neat looking, but it definitely didn't sell me on this game.
Yeah, I don't have the patience to play games like this. We
Yeah.
have to do a lot of planning.
Well, also
before
there's
you
like
fight
there's
things.
no leveling up. There's no real character progression outside of like kill the monster 60 times and then you get to craft the armor. But there's no, hey, I'm just going to do whatever I want, right? Like I'm going to go and kill a bunch of guys and then get stronger. It's like specific ways of leveling up. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It did nothing for me. I think it doesn't even look as good as Dragon's Dogma 2 or Resident Evil, which is weird because it's coming out after. There are parts that look incredible, but the character models specifically and the story cutscenes look, in my opinion, pretty bad. And it's funny because Dragon's Dogma 2 came out this year. I don't know when Monster Hunter Wilds is coming out. We'll probably find out this week for the Summer Games Fest. But I don't know. It's one of those titles that does nothing for me, but I know the people who are excited for it are going to be really excited. And then finally, it ended with honestly what I think was the best game of the show and the only reason why I enjoyed the whole show, which is Astrobot. Did you play a lot of Astro's Playroom that released on PS5?
Yeah, that was one I did. I completed. I think we talked about this back on the old show. But I played it to completion and I loved it. I was surprised that they didn't turn it into. I'm surprised it wasn't longer than it was. So it was really cool to see this. Astro being turned into a full experience. And
as a elite gamer, I didn't actually need it to be any longer than it was. I'm already very, very good at it. So I was like just pro.
Yeah, like your 360 no scopes.
I was doing all that stuff.
Moves, yeah.
I mean, I pretty much 100% it in one try. Didn't even go back through a second mission. But this looks incredible. I can't wait for this game. This is what I wanted from Sony. This reminds me of the PlayStation I loved from PS1 and PS2 that released games like Ape Escape and Jack and Daxter. And they were kind of more like Nintendo. They were much more like family-friendly entertainment console. I know they were always trying to be more mature, but they had those titles in there, right? They had Croc. They had trying to think of Gex, right? They had weird titles. They just don't make these things anymore. And Astrobot looks like an incredibly well-made game coming out September 6th. According to their press release, it has 80 levels across 6 galaxies. I don't know what that's going to play like, but if you watch the trailer closely, you'll see like Kratos from God of War. You'll see a bunch of just PlayStation characters. You'll see Aloy, all these things. So it's kind of like a greatest hits world where you're running around and running into these characters, and it looked like you get like Kratos' axe. It's just fun. It looks fun. It looks fun and silly, and like someone was like, hey, let's make a game that's fun, and that's the purpose. And I feel like
it's silly.
Yeah, and silly. They were like, hey, fun? Nah. Not just fun, also silly.
Silly too.
But it's something that I feel like you don't see Sony do anymore. All of their games are so self-serious that Astro is like the first time where I'm like, they're having fun. They are making fun games, right? Like I'm watching the trailer as we're recording, and it's just like seeing like Sumo Astro or Nathan Drake Astro or the guy from Journey or the Ico character or Parappa, right? Like there's so many fun things. The PlayStation itself is a spaceship. It's just an insane concept, right? I love it. I can't wait. It's honestly the only PlayStation game I'm excited for this year. They only have 2, so it's not like a lot.
Or September 6th.
Man, I can't wait. Honestly, I was so excited when I saw that. I was like, this is the one game. Like, even if these next showcases are no good, I found something that I'm really excited for. So I'm very thankful that they have this. Well, I don't have time to listen to you yammer on and on and on about the state of play. We've got 3 other showcases. There's way more than that, but 3 other biggies coming out. We got the Summer Games Fest, which is not platform specific. It's platform agnostic. We've got the Xbox Developer Direct or Xbox Game Showcase, which is Sunday. And then we have the Nintendo Direct at we don't know when, but that's going to be focusing on the end of the year. So as always, we're going to get to our Dream 3 wish list. But before we do our Dream 3 wish list and we go over the rules, we go over everything, we get you guys excited for this stuff, I want to tell you about this place called happyhoarders.hell. It is a website that we created to keep the person who owns Happy Hoarders in hell. If you donate money, we promise to torment them every single day. So go to Happy Hoarders, happyhorder.biz/hell and donate today. Can you tell the
Exclusively on the PlayStation 5.
Exclusively on the PlayStation 5. Can you tell everybody a little bit about this Happy Hoarders while we're working on sweet, sweet, sweet commercials? We know you guys love those advertisements.
Well, I love action figures, and I'm sure you don't. But
I love them.
You can go.
Got all my Jurassic Park. I've got the guy with the red claw thing from Jurassic Park 1 still. That guy. You know what I'm talking about? He's got the white hat. I've got that action figure.
What's his name? The raptor guy? Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
well,
Robert
he's got
Muldoon?
he's got a red thing he wears on his arm. He was like the one action figure I remember from when we were kids. I don't know who he was. I think he's the guy at the very beginning, and he has like he gets eaten, you know, because he's got like this glove.
Oh yeah.
I looked at him right now. It's called Kenner. I had that toy. Oh, it's so funny. It's worth 50
Yeah, that's because they were
man.
made by Kenner. Yeah. The original Jurassic Park, the 94 toys are hot commodities on eBay.
I got them all, man.
Well, I got a Dr. Ian Malcolm Amber collection hanging up on my rack back there. So
Don't talk about
that's
your
cool.
rack on this show. This is a family show, okay? Doctor.
I'm sorry, I gotta keep it friendly. But you can go to www.happyhoardercollectibles.com and find all the things. We got the action figures, the Pokemon cards, the Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic cards, the video games. We got Funko Pops, all of it.
How is someone sitting on
today.
happyhoarders.com? I just had to go there because I was like, why do you not have the URL Happy Hoarders? And
Yeah,
please
I
go
tried.
there. Please go there right now, guys, because it is the best website I have ever seen. I'm kind of confused as to what I'm looking at, but you need to go there. Go to happyhoarders.com. It is just incredible. I wish we had more content like that on the internet. The world would be a better place. And then I'm also looking at Happy Hoarder, the Happy Hoarder, and that's somebody who, what do? They sell when everything sparks joy. This is like
I'm seeing that one.
This
right
is
now.
the opposite of Maria Kondo, right? And this site really needs a remake. They just want you to keep everything. I guess this person just hoards stuff, and they just like hoarding things.
Yeah, look, there's like jars with animals on them. That's cool.
And then let's see what the Happy Hoarder is. That takes you to a site where someone's selling the domain. Well, you could buy that domain from them. So anyways, those are the three to go to. Happy Hoarders, the Happy Hoarder, and happyhoarder.com. Do not go to happyhoardercollectibles.com. Do not go there, no matter what you do. If you value your life, do not go to happyhoardercollectibles.biz.
This is the worst business plug I think we've ever done.
Well, it's not the worst yet. We'll make it worse. Once we had some words that aren't allowed on air to represent your store, we'll get it worse. Okay, boy, you said it's the worst. This is going to be the worst. Okay.
Challenge accepted.
So ever since we started Super BS, we have done what we like to call the Dream3 Wishlist. These are our predictions, things that we know are going to happen, and we're going to share them with you. This is Dream 3. Anything is possible, okay? So just so I can reveal the rules to Jen, because he hasn't done it in a while, and little boy, baby boy Brank has so many of these, I'm going to kick you off with a banger, bro. You're going to hear this, and you're going to be like, man. And this is for any of the showcases. This is what you're hoping. This is what you're dreaming. This is what you know is going to be there. And I know this is going to be this way. You're going to see a landscape. We started off strong always. I like landscapes. A landscape shot of a lush jungle, an Arctic oasis, city in the clouds. Then you hear a whirring noise that's flying between the trees.
Is the Arctic lush?
The Arctic is lush. And then all of a sudden, a flying red hat appears. It's Cappy, bros. Mario appears, and you see him on his hat ship, and he's flying to different galaxies. Yeah, you heard it. Super Mario Odyssey 2, Galaxies Unite, or something like that. Hopefully they have a better name than that, because that name sucks. But Nintendo, I believe in you. But anyways, Super Mario Odyssey 2 is what's going to be there, and you can count on it. You can put that one in the bank. You can get 1 million bro bucks from saying that online. People are going to love you. They're going to believe it. It's awesome. Would you love that, though? Honestly, like, that is the title I think I want more than anything else. is Super Mario Odyssey 2.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they've been shying away from a new Mario title for a while. It makes me wonder if they're waiting until the Switch 2 comes out before they're going to do something like
Well,
that.
you should say a new 3D Mario. We just got Mario Wonder last year, so everyone forgets that one.
You know what I mean? Like a mainline Mario title. Ugh.
This guy doesn't even know about Mario Wonder. Okay, bro, hit me with something that you know is going to be there.
Okay, the stage goes black. Emilia Clarke shows up
What?
dressed as Daenerys Targaryen.
What?
Yes. What? And she comes out and says, Holt.
Holt.
I am the mother of dragons. Holt. And the stage starts flashing orange, right? And a fire shoots out from the pyrotechnics guy. And then when the
car
smoke
comes
clears
from the ceiling down, Forza
big-
Horizon 6.
the screen, a big purple flash goes across the screen, but it's not whatever the dragon's name is that she flies on in Game of Thrones.
We know that one.
It's Spyro the Dragon!
Dude, how funny would that be if they brought out Emilia Clarke acting as Daenerys Targaryen for a non-Game of Thrones game? I would love to see that. Spyro the Dragon.
It would actually be really clever marketing. Like, I would remember that forever.
Where are we going to see this? Where is Spyro the Dragon showing up?
Oh, this is going to happen at the Xbox showcase
Nice.
because Xbox does not own Toys for Bob anymore, but I'm assuming they're still friends, so
I'm
hopefully
hoping.
we'll see it there.
You heard about their deal, though, right? They just announced that they are working on something today in partnership with Xbox. But we're not going to see it for a while.
Well, hopefully it's Spyro 4.
And-
That's what we all want.
And it's going to be with Daenerys Targaryen, just because that makes more sense.
It does.
Well,
Game of Spyro.
to keep you in the land of Xbox, I'm going to bring one of the best is going to be coming back. You're going to see a soldier walking around with his night vision goggles on some type of building, and then you're going to hear some growling noises coming from behind him. And all of a sudden, a hulking alligator man comes out, and the soldier looks in terror. But behind him, a woman with short red hair becomes visible because she was cloaked behind him and slashes him with a sword. And then all of a sudden, the alarms go off and soldiers keep running towards him. As they keep running, you see sniper bullets flying through. And then you get closer and closer, and a big guy comes out with a minigun. You could probably already guess what this is. This is Brute Force 2, the #1 game everybody's waiting for. And they are going to battle their way to the chopper in the trailer, okay? And it's going to be nonstop awesome. SOCOM-like gameplay. It's going to be whatever that Ubisoft game that I already forgot the name was that they made 2 of. It's going to be like that, but it's going to be called Brute Force 2.
You know, anytime that I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if they made a sequel to a game, I'm always like, yeah, Brute Force. That's the one that's always on my mind.
I would love that, though. I liked Brute Force a lot. Did you ever play the original?
I did, and it was very much a product of its time.
Yeah, meaning it was great. Yes, it was a product of its time. It was great.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
But no, honestly, it reminds me a lot of, what is that game's name? The one where the guy from Walking Dead came out and talked about it with his dog. It's Ghost. What do they call them? Not Ghost Recon. Oh, yeah, Ghost Recon. Ghost Recon Breakpoint and Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Wasn't there Wildlands? Yeah, that was the one with the dog.
That is totally Brute
Yeah.
Force. That is what we need. That is the modern day Brute Force, okay? So just do that and now make it Brute Force, and we're good. That's all we need, okay?
That's it.
So this is easy, guys. Just do it. Okay,
Yeah.
hit me with one.
All right. So this is also at the Xbox showcase, all right? Fog covers the stage, all right? A giant aquarium rises from a platform. Inside the aquarium, it's black. You don't get to see anything yet. Phil Spencer is lowered from the ceiling, right? And he's got his harness on, and he's got his
Harness he wears for
he's
his
got-
indecent acts.
yeah, and in his in his hands, he's holding these brown things. What are they?
Poop?
I wonder. But the guy who has the harness rigged is not paying attention. He's on TikTok, and he accidentally hits the lever. Phil falls into the tank, and red comes up. And then we find out when the lights turn on, there's a crocodile in there. Phil meant to announce Croc 3, but he will never do it And
That's the death of
all
Phil
we have-
Spencer.
yes, all we have is a logo on the screen that says Croc 3 coming soon.
Will it have Legend of the Gobos in the title, or the Gobos going to be there?
The Gobos are the ones making the announcement. Phil wasn't even going to talk.
The
All right.
Gobos, they brought them to life. With all of Microsoft's money, they decided instead of making robots or any type of good AI, they created Gobos because they just they loved this stupid joke that we made a long time ago. And they're like, we got to make these people's lives. We love this game and we love these characters. They look kind of like spiders. I don't actually know what they're supposed to be. I'm looking at it.
They're like mushrooms, aren't they?
No, they're like brownish things. All I know is there's legends about them, okay? And they are legendary. I love the Gobos. Love me some Gobos. Oh, boy, that's pretty good. I think that would get the crowd roaring, but not as much as this. And this is a serious one. If you notice, I've been bringing serious titles to you guys, not some jokes like my friend over here.
No, this is. I really want a Croc 3.
I actually would like a Croc 3 also.
I don't. Right.
So here's the next one, also seen at the Xbox Showcase or Summer Games Fest. I'll allow it to be at either. You see a floating cloud city and a man practicing Tai Chi. You see the BioWare logo float across in the clouds and then fade like a wisp. There's a bunch of action shots of martial artists fighting human and supernatural and fantastical creatures. And then all of a sudden in green stone, you see the word Jade Empire 2. Boom! Did you ever play that one?
I did. That would actually be really cool to have a sequel.
I
to
would
that.
love Jade
I don't
Empire
remember
2.
if the game ended on a note where there could be a sequel, though. That was BioWare made that,
yes,
right?
Yeah, it would be so cool. I love the original Jade Empire. I think it's the first BioWare game I finished. It was because I had tried Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which was way too difficult for me, and then Jade Empire came out, and that's kind of what made me love them, and then Mass Effect was their next title. But yeah. It's sad. Mass Effect was their next title, and then Dragon Age came after. Yeah, it's sad. I kind of can't believe they never made a sequel to it because it is like one of the funnest games ever, and it's kind of like locked on, I think, the original Xbox, and now it's on like iPads or something.
It's on iOS. Yeah, you can play it on iOS.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that it's died there, but I do love it, man. So, okay, hit me with one. Hit me with a dream.
All right, this is an absolute pipe dream right here. Okay. Screen lights up and you see a very familiar Halo, right? And it goes dun dun dun, and the music starts to play. You know, the Halo music.
Okay.
And you hear Cortana go. You know, she says something about how she's dead now or gonna be dead probably, and then you see Master Chief slowly goes up to his helmet and he takes it off. And everyone's like, oh, we always wondered what he looked like. But it's a deep fake because it's actually Mario on there. Whoa! And then all of a sudden, the Mario music starts to play. Jack Black is lowered from the ceiling. Okay, they're doing a lot of harness work in this show.
Yeah, your show
Jack
has
Black,
had a lot of money
so
involved.
He's playing Peaches, 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 Peaches. And we find out the... Phil Spencer and Miyamoto, right? That's who does Mario, right?
Yep.
And they come onto the stage and they shake hands to announce that soon you will be able to play Mario on the Xbox.
That actually would be crazy, and not all the other stuff you said, but showing as a Master Chief with a Mario, that also would be a crazy way to announce it. I do love the idea, though, of Mario coming to Xbox, and they just do the stupidest way of ever showing it off. Like, you guys didn't need to do that at all.
People would be stoked. You know what, though? I was thinking to myself as I was coming up with this whole gag here was that it would be fun to go back and play Mario on the Xbox. Because imagine being able to get achievements
I love it.
for playing Mario 64
I'd be an
and Odyssey
achievement
and all that
whore,
good stuff.
bro. I'd be like, give me all those achievos.
Give me
I
those
love 'em.
Achievos and the Cheetos.
So if you've noticed, I'm coming at you with some real dreams. You're coming at with me with some jokes, okay? So here's another real dream, one that's going to blow everyone's pants off. You see a blank, deserted land, and then slowly one house appears. And while you see that, the screen cuts to like an anime-looking hero fighting monsters, and then another business appears on as it cuts back to the city. And he keeps going and fighting and doing all this cool stuff. Then another business appears, and another business appears, and slowly the city grows, and then a dark cloud arises from the earth. Guess what game it is? Dark Cloud 3. Boom!
What?
Man, level 5 is back in action. They're ready to kill it. So yeah, Dark Cloud 3 is going to be announced. Take that to the bank.
The original one was on
PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2. That's right.
But it's a level 5 game. Cool. It could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be PlayStation.
Yeah. No, you're right. Because it was that one, and Guardians Crusade is another one I look back on with fondness. I think that was an Activision title. But yeah, those would both be really cool games for remakes.
I don't know. Guardians. Oh, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, you are right. Is an Activision title. I've never heard of it before. But yes, that would be a lot of fun. I would love that. Okay, hit me with one because we're running out of time. All of our fans are dying. They're like, hey, we'll listen for so long. We got to go to bed. And I'm like, okay. And podcasts die after a day. So they got to go to bed. So hit me because we got a few more.
All right. This one is at the Summer Games Fest, all right?
Okay.
You see Middle Earth on the giant screens behind Jeff Keighley. And everyone's like, oh, no, it's going to be an Amazon Lord of the Rings commercial. But it's not. All right?
Okay.
You get different clips of the old Lord of the Rings games playing on the TV. The ones on the Xbox and PlayStation 2.
Those are good games, yeah. The good ones.
Yes. And then all of a sudden the screen flashes and Viggo Mortensen walks out.
Viggo Morgenstein.
Says,
Sorry, that's his name.
Morgenstein, yeah. Walks out and says, I'll do you one better. We remade them. And everyone loses their minds because the original Lord of the Rings game trilogy is being remade. All 3 titles, and everyone loves it. They're like, yes, take my money. And then everyone leaves because they don't want to see any other games after that. They just like made the show for them.
That's probably how it would happen too. They would like yell and then they'd leave. Even if it was the first thing they showed, the whole show would be empty for the rest of it. The very first game they showed, like, hey, we're not watching anymore. We want to play this game. It's not even coming out for 2 years, but they leave immediately.
We just can't wait for this now.
Real talk,
honestly,
I think
though,
about those games a lot. I would like to play that.
They're fun. The Two Towers is probably the one that everybody would care to play the most.
They should just make it as one game and just allow you to level up the characters between all of the game. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and your like stats carry over to the next title or whatever. Yes, that would be amazing. But yeah, no, for real, like I would really love that because those are really cool games. I remember spending a lot of time on them. Playing with friends because they had couch co-op. You could sit there and play with your buds.
The weird one to think about is they were 3, like the 2 final ones, Return of the King and Two Towers, were similar games. But the first one, The Fellowship of the Ring, which I don't think is made by the same publisher at all, but it's a totally different style of game. It has nothing in common with the other 2. It would be cool if they kind of tried to... They should do both. They should release them all as separate titles, like for cheap, so we could play them again. But then they should also like remake one of them that makes more sense in like a conducive style. But yeah, bring out all that stuff. Bring out the Third Age. Remember the Lord of the Rings RPG? I never played it. I would actually like to turn it on.
I never played it either. Yeah, it sounded cool, but I just never got around to playing it.
We never got around to playing it. We need these games. Okay, I'm about to hit you with a couple more, okay, bro? But I'll go, how many more do you have left? Just so I can know if I should.
I got one more.
Okay, then I'm going to do 2 more back-to-back because these 2 need to be heard, and then we'll do our final ones. Okay, so this one, it's going to be at the Xbox Showcase. The screen's going to go black. It's going to be a dark prison on an alien planet. Hard to see. The prisoners are sick and they're coughing, and you see some yelling and smashing the cell doors, and it's kind of zooming around the prison. It's just a horrible place to be. And then all of a sudden, the little bit of light that was there goes out, and then someone with blue eyes lights up. And that's the end of the trailer. Chronicles of Riddick 2. Boom! Chronicles of Riddick.
That was actually it was a great game.
Chronicles of Riddick
Butcher
was
Bay,
incredible.
Right?
Yeah, I love that game. Yeah. I actually wish I would have got the 360 title. I really liked the original Xbox one, but I never played that one.
I think that was the first time I played it. It was on the 360.
Oh yeah, because they
I remember
re-released
Big Dog
it.
let me borrow it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, it's such a fun game. It's way better than it has any right to be. Okay, so one more. I don't know if this was going to be at the Nintendo Direct or Summer Games Fest. No one's told me yet. I asked Reggie, he wouldn't tell me. But all of a sudden, the screen's a little bit dark, and then you hear bound with the bickety buck Bumble, and it's of course everybody's favorite hero, Buck Bumble, and he's coming back as a 3D open world shooter with platforming elements. Yes, everybody knows and loves Buck Bumble, the third person shooting action game from Nintendo 64. I don't know if you played that game, but I did love it, and the theme song is incredible, and you should listen to it all day, every day. But I would actually love a Buck Bumble made again as like an open world title, because I really, really did like the original Buck Bumble.
Who owns this title? Is
Ubisoft.
it owned outright by? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I wonder what. Ubisoft seems like it'd be smart of them to remake a lot of these old games,
Yeah.
but they only do Assassin's Creed now.
I mean, with the title track like Buck Bumble, man, I mean, I don't even know what they're doing with not putting those games out. Like, you gotta get that song to the world, man. They should just release that on record, bro. Okay,
Vinyl.
I gotta hear your last one, because I got one more to kick us off at the end after you finish your joke up.
This one is another pipe dream, but it would be actually really awesome.
Okay.
State of play. All right.
We're going to get another one somehow in the next week.
We see a racing. We see a car, a Nissan Skyline.
Nice.
On one side of the screen, and it's going, you know, you see the tires roll, and there's a faceless driver. There's a racetrack out, high speed ring on there.
Juice 2.
On the other side, yes, on the other side, you see another race car, and it's an Audi R8, and you're driving through the hillside in Japan.
Oh.
And it's just you're just going and going, and these cars, all of a sudden there's a new shot. They're heading towards each other on the screen. They collide. There's an explosion, but it's not a bad explosion.
Oh.
Because in the middle of this, a logo comes forth, and it says Gran Turismo X Forza Horizons.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
That would be
right.
crazy.
Right, a crossover. Oh my gosh,
That would be very incredible. I would love that. I would
too.
I would almost love that as much as this little ditty. You're going to see it at Summer Game Fest. Tell Jeff thank you from me, because I'm excited for you all to see it for the first time. There's a watercolor meadow landscape that's blanketed in gray. The camera pans around the landscape till you find this giant dead tree. All of a sudden, a black brush appears and circles around the tree, and then the whole landscape is drenched in color as the screen pans out to a mountain where you see this white wolf looking down, and then in traditional Japanese calligraphy, the words Okami 2 are painted on screen. The whole room erupts. Everybody go, whoa!
Oh, it's not a remake.
No, it's a new one. We got to get a new one. I would love Okami 2. Yeah, it's Dream3, man. We need that. Dude, I love Okami. Did you ever play that game?
No, but I've seen it on the Switch. I've
You
seen
need
it on
to
the
buy it on
Xbox.
all
I've
of
seen it
them.
on the PlayStation.
Buy at least 4 copies.
It's been remastered or put out
on
on all these
HD
different
and stuff.
consoles. Yeah.
You should play it. Honestly, I finished it for the first time not even too long ago. I think like a couple years ago, and it's incredible. I played it when it released on PlayStation 2, but it's an incredibly long Zelda-like. It plays like a really good Zelda game from the Ocarina of Time era. So there is a lot of dialogue that can be annoying, but overall it's just beautiful. It's fun. I find the gameplay to be way more fun than Zelda because of the paintbrush stuff where you use the paintbrush in battle to slow down time and bomb enemies and do all types of neat things. But yeah, it's a great game. Okami it's one of the saddest things ever that the only thing they did was they released a DS game called Okami Den, which I never played, but they never made a sequel. That was the closest thing they made to a sequel. They never got.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's when they make a sequel that's on a handheld that at that time, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love it, man. I'm just excited for everyone to see all these E3 things, especially Phil dying to a croc attack, which is a little bit crazy. It's stuff that we didn't.
Well, It's actually his clone, all right?
it's his clone.
Because
Okay,
they
good.
were also, they also later in the show announced Microsoft's new AI cloning.
Yeah.
Not AI, it's their new cloning
At
technology.
the Xbox showcase.
So,
That makes sense.
yeah, the Xbox showcase. Yeah, it was called Connect Clone 360.
Yeah.
And they'll talk. It's gonna be all the rage. They'll talk.
And there's
about
only
it
one
at some
game
point,
on
I'm
it.
sure.
It's Gunstringer mixed with the Sesame Street game that's on Connect.
Yeah. And every character is Phil.
Yes, every character. But it's also Phil as a Sesame Street character. What was that Connect Sesame? That was the Double Fine game, right? It's the Sesame Street Connect game. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I do actually.
I think it
That
might have
was,
been made by Double Fine. I could be wrong, but it's a funny one that someone made a Sesame Street Connect game.
Seems appropriate.
Yeah. Well, they're bringing back Connect, okay? That was actually the thing we didn't talk about. That will be the main announcement for Xbox.
We're not supposed to talk about
I
that. We got
know.
those NDAs, man.
I'm sorry. I spoiled it. They're going to come to my house and kill me tonight. But it is Connect's the thing that everybody wanted. That's why the Xbox is in third place right now, is because there's not enough Connects made. And they need to force it on the console again. We saw that worked really well last time. So... okay, my bro, this is going to be incredible. People are going to get their gobos. People are going to get their okamis. This is going to be one of the funnest days ever, okay? We are going to wrap up, and next time you hear from us, we'll know everything. We'll be in the future. We'll tell you about these games. We're going to talk about the trailers, stuff you already heard today, but it's going to sound more real because you'll have seen it. So join us as you get to actually participate now, because right now it's just us knowing the future and you being a loser. So join us once you're no longer a loser.
It's lonely in the future.
And
Join
awesome.
us.
Okay, it's not lonely, it's awesome. Hooray!
Too many Phil clones.
Peace.
What about now? It's time to rock with the biggity back bumper. What about now? It's time to rock with the biggity back bumper. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bumper. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bumper. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bumper. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bumper. Bump to the boot to the boot to the boot boot. Bump to the bass to the bass bass. Bump to the boot to the boot to the boot. Bump to the bass to the bass bass. Bump to the boot to the bump to the bass. Bump to the boot